Hi, have you ever wondered if you could teach your child to read or to spell? You can. If your child is just starting to get interested in reading words and noticing letters, then this video is for you. In this video, I'll share 4 easy steps that will help you help your child connect sounds to letters. This is the foundation for beginning to read and to spell. And it is such a great experience. You will love it. Hi, I'm Joni Flowers and I help parents and educators with practical tips to support young children on their learning journey. Welcome to my channel, Teaching Young Children, and a big hello to those of you that have joined me from my website cherryed.com.au, where I create resources to help support children on their learning journey. Today's video is designed to help you help young children see the connections between the sounds they hear and the way those sounds are written. Before you begin these steps, you'll need to get hold of a chart that has an order of the introduction of sounds. There are a few around, including SatPin and RWI, and Reading Rockets also has a few suggestions. While some may choose to teach children sounds and letters in alphabetical order, there are more pros for teaching them in a carefully designed sequence. Good sequences for introducing sounds will enable children to quickly create simple words, often within just 3 lessons. For the purpose of avoiding any copyright infringement and also so that I could show you how to introduce 3 letters, I have selected 3 letters which, as far as I know, do not start any commercial program. So the letters that I've chosen are T, O and P. So I'm going to share with you 4 steps that you can do in one lesson, just in the morning, and these 4 steps will help your child move from being able to hear the sound to actually writing that sound. Step 1 is distinguish the sound. First thing is that we need to know that your child can actually hear the sound. So on our first day, we are going to learn the letter T and the sound it makes. T. Say some words that begin with T, like toe, tip, turtle. Ask your child, what's the same about those words? An important thing here is to pronounce those sounds as purely as possible. So be sure that when you're saying the sound of T, say T, not T. This will be very important when your child actually begins to blend those sounds together. Now, while you go through all of the different words that begin with T, throw in one there that doesn't begin with T, like nut, and see if your child recognizes that that one's an odd one out. This will help you know if your child actually is able to discriminate the sound. Go for a walk through the house looking for items that start with the T sound. You might find a teddy or a tent. I suggest avoiding words that have TR at the start, such as tree or truck, because this initial sound is very tricky for children to distinguish. So maybe save that for in the future and just stick with words that have that pure T sound at the start. Step number 2 is make the sound visual. Show your child the letter T. When teaching sounds and letters, I recommend only sticking with lowercase letters. The goal is learning to recognize the sound and corresponding letter, and the capital letters can just slow the learning process. There's enough time for those later. Now it's time to present a mnemonic that will help your child connect the sound to the way that it is formed. Once again, in order to avoid copyright infringements, I've made up my own mnemonic for the letter T. Draw the letter T and say the mnemonic top to toe, tip to tip. Say the mnemonic as you are forming that letter, and then refer to this as T, not T, but refer to it as T This is going to help your child pick up how to read and spell faster. You can stand up and stretch out your arms and ask your child, what sound are you pretending to be? And then you can say the mnemonic together, top to toe and tip to tip. And ask your child to trace your body as you're saying the mnemonic out loud. Then get your child to have a go at being a t, and you can trace them while you say the mnemonic, top to toe and tip to tip. They'll love that. Then you can find some dollies or some teddies to have a go at representing and showing us what a t looks like. And children can say the mnemonic as they trace over the teddy's body. Then open up a book and have a search for any t that you can find in there. And every time that you spot a t, go over that mnemonic. We want children to remember that mnemonic every time they see that sound. Now, for step number 3, write the sound. So grab a piece of paper and a pencil. I'm actually going to get my whiteboard and marker from my Blend 10 kit, very exciting. You can find details about this on my website, cherryed.com.au. So let's just grab that whiteboard. So I won't use that side, I'll use this side and my marker. And when we get to this stage, what we're doing is we're going to demonstrate how to write the sound t, then demonstrate how to form the letter, saying the mnemonic as you go, t, 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 top to toe, tip to tip. And then ask your child to have a go, and they can practice writing the sound t. And while they do it, remind them to say the mnemonic each time. There's no problem if it's messy. That comes when children get more and more finger strength. You could do some dots to help them, guide them if you think they're really struggling. You could do a dot here and ask them to draw the line there. Or you could even do lots of dots and they connect those together. That's if you feel that they need the extra support. Then it's time to put it all together. So step number 4 is to match the sound with the letter. In this step, your child will be able to show you and themselves that they can match a sound they hear to a letter they write, and in this case it will be the letter T. Your child will create a T poster. Ask them to write a T on their page, and then ask them to draw all of the items that you have found during the lesson that start with that sound T. So they may draw a picture of a tent or a picture of a teddy on the page. This is going to be their poster that they can display and proudly refer to for the rest of the day and even future weeks. Display this somewhere prominent so that you can admire it and praise it throughout the day and coming weeks. Now, the very next day you can introduce a new letter. Begin by reviewing that poster and admiring it and praising it and talking about all of the words that you have been able to spot around the home. Then it's time to repeat those 4 steps again, but with the second letter. And in our case, our second letter is going to be the O, which we'll introduce as the sound O. Now with the sound O, it was really hard to find something unique. It seems that orange is quite a popular image for children trying to learn the sound O and form the O. So I'm using O orange, which seems logical for children. So here's my mnemonic, which I've tried to be as unique as I can. This is the mnemonic to help children when they're saying the O sound and they're forming it. O, back around the orange. O, back around the orange. Note I included back around, and that is strategic because this helps children then remember when they're forming the letters which direction that they are to move their pencil as they're forming the O. So remember, step 1 is distinguish the sound. So think of some words that start with the short vowel sound O. such as octopus, otter, ox, opposite. Just be careful not to connect the O sound with the long vowel sound like ocean or owl. Even though it is written with an O at the start, it isn't the sound that we're after. So be really careful just to pick those items that really start with that basic sound O, the short sound of an O, O. And step 2 is to visualize the sound. Now, it might be hard to find an otter at your place. They're not around my place, and same with ostriches. They're not handy to point out to my child. So in this case, you might need to go on Google Images to find some images online. Then remember, step number 3 was to write the sound. Then step number 4 was to connect the sound with the letter. I'll leave that example I had with the letter T in the description below so you can follow those steps and apply it to whichever sound you are teaching your child. Now, at the end of day 2, you can begin your first blend. Write the sound O and then write the T. I'm using the magnets that I've got in my Blend 10 kit. So we've got O and then T. Be careful not to have them around the other way because we're not trying to teach them to spell 2. That is not the sound that we're after today. So it would be pointing to these sounds, O, T, and then you put them in a little bit, O, T, a little bit more, O, T, a little bit again, and then go O, T, O, T, O, T. And you just say it and show them how you can put those sounds together, which is actually called blending. Ot, ot. And if your child is still keen, have a little go asking them, what do they know that might have the ot sound in there? Now this is going to be great if you actually did find an image of an otter, because this is the beginning of an otter, the word otter. And this gets children ready for day 3 when they know a 3rd letter. They will be able to blend the 3 sounds together and actually read a real word. So on day 3, review those steps. Remember to look at each of the posters, praising and admiring your child for the wonderful way they have shown the sound T with all of the different pictures and the way they formed it, and the mnemonic, and same with the O. Go over the way to form it as well, making sure they remember how to do that formation. Then you would repeat those 4 steps again, and for the purpose of this video, I decided that P would be the 3rd letter to introduce. And the mnemonic I thought that could accompany the sound is down the ponytail and around the face. Once you've completed those 4 steps again for the letter P, you are ready for an amazing moment, blending those 3 sounds together to make a word. So I'm using my magnetic letters here from the Blend 10 kit. And I've laid out the 3 sounds that your child will have learned on their first 3 days. And I've put them with a bit of space in between. So the way to teach blending, we would start by making sure we remember the sounds, T, O, P. Then you just move them in a little bit closer, T, O, P. Little bit each time, T, O, P. And so forth. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. So we get about here, and then I would start asking the child, what do you think these sounds are saying when they're all next to each other? T, op, t, op, t, op. And because it's their first time with this experience, I would scaffold this really well and show them what we're looking for to blend these sounds together. Top, 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 top. And wait for them to see if they can hear the word that you're saying in there. Then, before you finish there, I have a go at doing the same activity, but have your P on this side and your T on that side. And then, before you know it, your child has actually been able to create or read 2 words, pot and top. And then play a game where you create one of those 2 words and ask your child to work out which word it is by doing this little tapping and sounding out each of those sounds. And before you know it, they are actually reading independently. They're reading these words on their own. It's an exciting moment. And watch the excitement as your child realizes that they are actually able to create and read those simple words. Then the next step is to actually put the sounds at random spots on your whiteboard or on your paper, and then ask the child to form the word pot or top. And so they have a little go at forming it themselves. And when they have formed it, guess what? They have learned to spell it as well. This is their first experience at spelling. You might practice these activities several times on the following days as well. So once your child can create those letters with those 3 sounds, ask them to transfer that and write that on a piece of paper, and then they can draw a picture of the pot or of top, a top or something that's up on top, and put an arrow there, and that can be their new poster that they display, and you can proudly admire it and praise it, because this is such a wonderful thing. Your child has learned to read and to spell 2 words in 3 days. Woohoo! You did it! So that's it for today. My Blend 10 kits will be coming out soon, but I guess that depends when you're watching this video. You can purchase them from my website, cherryed.com.au if you're in Australia, and you can also get them from Amazon. And please sign up for my newsletter on my site, cherryed.com.au, so we can keep in touch. You'll receive a free download of my TPT resource, Friends of 10 Go Fish, once you sign up for my email list. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, please share it with anyone that you know will benefit from the content. And if you have any questions about teaching young children, please leave those in the description below. That's it from me. Have a great day. Bye. I'll see you next time.